Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Reseller's Journey. Here is your host, ebayjoey.
Welcome to A Reseller's Journey Season 3. I'm your host, eBay Joey. Today, we got a special guest all the way from the East Coast. I've been following this person for about 2 years since I started reselling. He goes by the name Operation underscore Hustle. Welcome, Jake, to the show.
What up? What up? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be exciting.
Yeah, man. I've been following you for I think since I started reselling. And like we were talking today on the phone, dude, I was like, man, you never posted anything back in the day. You were low key.
Yeah, in the back in the day on Instagram, I would post the occasional sale, like what I found, what sold on eBay. I'd break it down and just put a little bit out there. I don't know. It's just I like posting on Instagram. I like this. I've started like posting my stories more and just
Hmm.
speaking my mind and saying what's going on, a story here and there. The Instagram post itself. I mean, my if you look at my more recent posts, I post more of my sale, like overall gross sales for the month, and just as a reflection point for myself to go look back and see what I was thinking at that time point, and then obviously just for motivational purposes for other people to see what I'm doing, that if I could do it, they can do it too. So
Yeah, man. I think motivation is key. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of motivational speakers as I'm packaging, as I'm listing. For me, I like to talk on the phone, but sometimes you gotta put that on hold and just focus on your business, man. But why do you think it's so key to like motivate, like as far as like giving inspiration to other resellers?
it's just everyone's different. So like for me, I mean, I get motivation from looking at other people that are in my groups and whatnot that they make my sales look tiny, and
Mm-hmm.
then some. And I always have that drive to get going every day as it is. So like I wake up, I want to make as much money as humanly possible. That's just how I want to. I came from a background of. My family lived paycheck to paycheck. We didn't really have, the expendable cash to do whatever we wanted in life. And so me growing up, I wanted to make sure that when I start a family and I have, um, when I start my family and moving forward, I want to be able to have money to do what I want, when I want it, and how I want to do it. And some people just lack that. That drive and motivation. Like for instance, I have a friend of mine that wants to get into the resale game, and he wants to start doing little flips here and there on the side to make extra cash, and he's just lazy. So some people, so I make put that post out there for some people that need that extra spark. And maybe one day they see my post and they'll just click and be like, hey, you know what? It's time for me to start, get on this game and try to make some money. So it's just some people have that, drive in them organically, and some people just need that extra kick in the ass to just say, "Hey, let's go. Let's do something."
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I always look at athletes, and it seems like the athlete that works the hardest and like Kobe Bryant comes to mind. Some of these greats, Michael Jordan, and they put in the time, they
Mhm.
put in the effort, and I think for a lot of people like resellers, they want to be great. They want to, have those big numbers and have success. But you know what they want to do? Just look through social media and see what's selling, what are other people getting. I don't think a lot of resellers want to put in the hard work to do the research for items that sell.
For
You know what I
sure,
mean?
man. Like, when the resale game and just being an entrepreneur in any facet, it's the one great thing where if you as many hours as you put into that work, to that effort that you put in, you or get back 100% of what you put in.
Yeah.
So, if you work in 10, 12-hour days, especially now in Q4, well, guess what? You're going to reap the rewards at the end of the month because your numbers
Hmm.
are going to be through the roof. And,
Right.
and that's the luxury too. I mean, some people don't have that drive. If you want to put in 2 hours a day to flip a few things to make $100 a week extra for yourself, to buy yourself, dinner with you and your wife or something, then so be it. So that's the one nice thing about being a reseller or just entrepreneur in general. It's just you could control the level that you want to do things.
Yeah, I agree, man. Because I know we were talking on the phone earlier, and we have a similar background where we both had a full time job, and we were both reselling part time. And it seems like once we got laid off, it seemed like that hustle and grind. Like for me, for people that know me, that I talk to them on the phone, it's like once I lost my job, man, like I started listing more, I started sourcing more, I started doing research more. Like I was hungry, man. And I think that was like key for me was losing my job.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I lost my job, so I got laid off in January. Before, I was I had a career. I was in industrial sales for 2 years, and when I graduated college, and then I went into um, electrical distribution for supplies, and I was their tech guy. I ran like the website and whatnot. And then January came around, and I thought I was having a meeting to discuss plans for the year with my
Yeah.
boss and my my president. And we go in and we just say we're downsizing your position, we're migrating it to somebody else, and they just laid me off. And I honestly, it was the first time I never had a job. I mean, I worked from the time I was 16 years old in high school and had a job up until that day. So initially, I was devastated. I was upset. I was just like, damn, this is awful. And it took me like 2 days, not just about 2 days, 3 days from talking
Mm-hmm.
to people and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? Like, I know how to make money. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was doing it on the side. And don't get my 2019 for me, my sales numbers were moderate, where I probably could have lived off it as like a normal part-time job type of thing. And then with 2020, I was like, you know what? I know how to make money. Let's just put the pedal to the floor and put everything I have into this side business that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I once I started that, I never looked back. I mean, I could when I post, I didn't post my November numbers yet. Just I'm gonna do some big year-end posts with everything to break down the business. But I look at my 12-month rolling for Amazon, for instance, because my business used to be 80% eBay, 20% Amazon. In 2020, that completely switched. It went from 80% Amazon to 20% eBay. And in January, my sales were I think were maybe $4,000 on Amazon, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where I've peaked it now at last month. I just shy of 90,000 in sales on Amazon. So like
Wow.
it's just like I knew I could do it, and I know the only person that would stop me from succeeding is myself, and I wasn't gonna let myself not succeed. So that's what
Right.
it comes down to. So like it was just a flip of the switch, and it just a full speed ahead at that point.
Yeah, man. And those are tremendous numbers. I think it's funny when you say like, compared to other people, they might look tiny, but to some other people, that's like, whoa, that's breathtaking. And I think sometimes we got to surround ourselves with people that are at a level where we want to get, Jake, and then people that are at our level, and just figure things out, and then also the people that we were once at third level, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's a progression, man. But like I was telling you earlier, pigeons don't hang with eagles, and eagles don't hang out with pigeons.
No, for
You know what I
sure, for
mean?
sure. Like I said, like I said, like we spoke before. There's everyone's in a resale group, so
Yeah.
like I surround myself. There's people that are at my level, below
Yeah.
my level, and then obviously make me look really small. But it's
Yeah.
just like we all learn from each other, and like I get people in my DMs all the time on Instagram. Small people that want to get started, have started, and just want tips or the tricks of the trade. And I'm by all means, I always answer everybody and try to help them out as much as possible, because like I feel like one, I'm a nice person, so I'm going to help you out. I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell you where I source my stuff or how to get ungated in certain brands. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I'm going to
Yeah.
help you to the best of my ability without like giving the secrets, out. And I just feel like by me helping out, because I know I get help from people that are bigger than me, and I have questions myself all the time. So it's just full circle from like I said, from small guys to big guys and big guys to small guys. It all comes around to helping one another.
Yeah, I think it's important. Like you talked about being you're part of a bunch of discords. We talked about that on the phone recently. I just started one, but just to have access to somebody, regardless of how much they do. But the main thing is like you can always learn from each other. I think once you get to that point, Jake, where you're like, oh, I can't learn anything from that person. I think at that point you're losing,
Hmm.
because you can't look at somebody and say, oh, well, they don't have this or they're not there. I can't learn anything. It's like, I think everybody has a nugget to give somebody else. It's like, I've always been a firm believer in that. And now you're doing that, with your Instagram stories, man. And you got no filter, bro. I mean, since I've been following you, you're like, whether it's politics, whether it's reselling, motivation, it's like, I think people just gotta respect that, man, that you have no filter. But do you think that's based on where you're born and raised? Because it seems like people that I've come in contact for the most part, if they're from a certain part of the United States, they're just built a little bit different that other people are not used to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, that
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, we're bred different. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just part of, I guess nature. But like,
Yeah.
I knew from a young age, or learned from a young age, that not to give a shit about what anyone thinks of you. Because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you're the only one that could you judge yourself and think in whatever anyone else thinks or says about you. It doesn't matter at that point. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, it's like I'll say my mind, and don't get me wrong. If I'm wrong about something and someone points it
Mhm.
out, I'll admit I'm wrong. But when it comes down to speaking my mind with zero filter, probably New Jersey, being born and raised in New Jersey, helps
Yeah.
that factor because it's just New Jersey. We also voted the most hated state in the country, which I can understand that too. But yeah, I say how it is, and I speak what's on
Yeah.
my mind, and if I offend people, I apologize. But other than that, it's just like I said, I don't let the outliers of anyone else on the outside affect me for what I do or what I say. It's just my personality, which doesn't, that it doesn't allow outside interference to stop you from moving forward at that point.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, for me, I'm in California, born and raised, Los Angeles area, man. But it seems like because the state is so liberal or to the left, as people would call it, it
Yeah.
seems like that's kind of like of my personality, where sometimes I just could you become more politically correct than rather than just saying it. Because when I had a job, and we were a national company, the company I worked for, like my sales manager would always say, like, man, you guys on the West Coast, you don't say it how it is, you don't get straight to the point. And I think that translates to your business as
Mhm.
well, or it might translate to social media. And I feel like that's where kind of Instagram is for resellers, where we're not completely telling the truth, the whole story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to meet people like you that just say it how it is, man. Like, I don't think it's not rainbows and lollipops being a reseller,
No,
man.
not at all. I mean, that's why more recently you've been seeing my FBA returns. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone talks about their sales and it's all great and wonders and Amazon FBA, you send it off and that's it. It's done. And when the
Yeah.
sale happens, you collect your money. But there is a lot of scumbags in this world
Yeah.
that they know how to cheat the system. And then unfortunately for us as sellers on Amazon, we're at Amazon's will to the returns. And
Mhm.
granted, you could fight. Like for instance, this past week I got two FBA returns, two pairs of shoes got back were used. One was the dude definitely just swapped out his pair for the
Yeah.
pair that he's had for 2 years, 3 years, and took my new pair. And you know what? I could fight with Amazon and go and open a case and send pictures and be like, dude, there's no way.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not gonna work because the same thing happened about a year ago. I sold, and it's a Jets fan because I'm a Giants fan. And of course, there's a
Yeah.
scumbag New York Jets fan. But I was selling New Era Jets beanies, and some
Yeah.
guy ordered a Jets beanie, FBA to FBA. He got it 2 days later, whatever. After the order, I got a refund notification in my email, and I was like, okay,
Mm.
whatever. Eventually, after it got back to the warehouse and it got back to me as deemed
Yeah.
unsellable, dude, this was his beanie that he's had for 5 years. Like it had
Oh,
holes
wow.
in it. It was disgustingly dirty, and I was just like, and I
Yeah.
took pictures because this was like my first real like scam FBA return,
Yeah.
and I took pictures. I forwarded it to Amazon. I was like, this isn't the beanie I sold. Like this is clearly can't be used that much in a 2 week, 3 week period. And they just were like, well, there was no way that we could prove that. And I was just like, you know what? Go fuck yourselves, Amazon.
Yeah.
I was like, you and Jeff Bezos makes billions of dollars on a monthly basis, and you're gonna screw me out of $25 on a beanie.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. It's part of doing business. But like, I go on Instagram and make light of it and a joke of it, and like it may
Right.
sound like I'm bitching and complaining, but it's just me putting it out there. Like, hey, like this is the shit you got to deal with if you're gonna do it sell FBA on Amazon.
Yeah,
So
and I think a lot of people that, they want to get ungated, they want to sell these big brands. I think for people that are part-time and they want to go full-time, it's like today I was telling my group, like, I got 4 returns. You got to make sure that your business has enough cash flow to cover a loss like that. Yeah, I get
mhm.
it. It's a tax write-off, blah blah blah, but in the heat of the moment, man, you're not doing your taxes. You're,
No.
you need to run a business. But that's why I think it's great that you do talk about it, because I don't think a lot of people do talk about it. But like I said, on eBay, I got 4 returns, and it's just like, oh my God, at least they're paying for it to come back. On
Yeah.
Amazon,
Yeah. On Amazon, it's just.
they take it out of your account.
Yeah, it's just like it's the worst. It's because I go through my Amazon. I do the long-winded way of accounting. Like I do my accounting on Amazon and eBay daily. So every sale that comes in, at least
Hmm.
for FBM right now, I'm way behind on my FBA accounting because I've been doing FBM by way too much.
Hmm.
Um, but as soon as an order comes in, it goes right. I have a giant Google sheet that I do everything. I don't use inventory labs or anything like that because I just feel like I lose a sense of control when I do like if I were to do inventory labs, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Um, so like that's the worst thing when an email comes through and it's just like seller or what's the title of it? Where is it? Just
Oh,
like
refund,
refund
refund.
initiated,
Yeah, something
and
like that.
I click on it. Like here's one that came in. What is it? 25 about an hour ago, and this was a toy. There was a refund for $114. Like that's not
Yeah,
that's not cheap money to just be, and it automatically comes out of my account. And the worst
yeah,
part is like, granted, it may never come back and you get reimbursed, which is the greatest possible thing if possible. But it's just like I could be 100% transparent just on my with Amazon returns from where is it? Only because I have my spreadsheet open. Amazon
yeah.
returns from January to the end of September. I've had $18,000 in returns
That's a
on
lot.
Amazon, and like granted, there's some reimbursements in there. There's some that are just that are sellable, so they go back to my inventory. But that's still a chunk of change that that you had and then you don't have because Amazon takes back all these returns. So it's like I said, that side is not fun and rainbows at all, believe me. But
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting question, because the other day I did get a DM talking about like, what do I use to manage my inventory, and I think, because a lot of resellers that are resellers, they all have different backgrounds. We all have different backgrounds. Not everybody's like business minded. Some people, they come from different industries, so they're trying to figure it out. But I was just telling this person, because we deal with a lot of custom SKUs. When I say custom, it's a one-off.
yeah,
You go to Ross, you go to a retail store. It's not like you're buying pallets of a one item. So to have an inventory program, I feel like it doesn't work for the reseller community.
hmm
But something like Google Sheets, I use Excel personally, and like you said, every sale I track. I mean,
yeah,
that's just the way it is until we create something. I don't think there's a better way at the moment.
yeah. I have, and a lot of guys in my resale group, they swear up and down by inventory labs.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it extensively, but I just know. I mean, they supposedly you punch in your cogs on the specific SKU and it does everything
Yeah.
for you. But like, I just feel like doing that. I'm a control freak. Like, if I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it right, I'm gonna do it myself. And for me to do that with inventory labs, I don't know. I just rather spend the extra. I mean, maybe that's holding me back from growth wise, but I like spend the extra hour in the morning or at the end of the day and
Yeah.
doing the accounting myself. And like I said, I can go back and pull up any tab. I have tabs for every month for eBay and
Mhm.
Amazon. I have a purchase for the year. I mean, this sheet is 6,000 lines long. It's just all the
Nice.
things that I purchased throughout the year. And I just when it's something sells, I copy it from the inventory page, bring it to the month of the sale, type it in, sales, fees, shipping, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
and it calculates my profit at the end of the day. So that's just what I do. It's probably really long-winded and a lot of extra work, but that's just what I'm accustomed to and what I like doing. And like I said, I use Google Sheets just because, hopefully, God forbid, Google never dies and I never lose a document. But that's what I do it.
You got to put on the cloud. I'm the same way. I'm a control freak as well. But if you think about it, Jake, we're most resellers, it's a one-man show. You're wearing multiple hats. It's a small business. This is mom and pops. Until you scale yourself where you have employees, and I know you're working with your brother-in-law. Would love to find out a little bit more about that and how it came out to play. But I think for the most part, you got to take the pictures, you got to inventory, you got to source it, you
hmm
you got to pack it. I mean, it's like we do everything from beginning to start. So I think that's why we're such control freaks. But then if you know your numbers, you know your business.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I could pull up any specific month except for October, November, and December because I haven't done my
Yeah.
FBA sales in
Yeah.
those spreadsheets. But any other day, any other month, day, any other month of the year, I can go in and tell you specifically, profit margins, cost of goods, the whole 9 yards, and I break it down to the P. It makes my accounting at the end of the year when I go to file my taxes real easy too because it's
Yeah.
all there with one click and I can go back and forth and make sure I got everything right so my accountant doesn't lose his mind and yell at me. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, it's I don't know. That's just how I prefer to do it.
yeah, I'm a little. I go the extra mile, man. I write down which store I went to. I write down the
Me
store
too.
number.
Me too.
Yeah.
So
Are
like
you a
my
Virgo? Are you a Virgo,
no,
man? Were
I'm
you
I'm
born?
a, I'm an Aries. So like I said, I'll put the day I bought it, what the item was, the cost of the item, and the store it came from, and
Hmm.
that's how I know. This way, because with Amazon, like I said, selling on Amazon, you could be one fraudulent item claim away from losing your account at any given moment
Yeah.
because some
Yeah.
asshole could just be like, hey, that's a fake item just because they're trying to get a refund or whatever it may be. And Amazon unfortunately believes every message that comes through from the seller just because that's just how they're it's ingrained in
Yeah.
them in customer service. So by putting that literally the purchase date and the store I bought it from. If I ever needed to go back and find receipts because I keep obviously all my hard receipts and they're
Yeah.
sorted off from January, February, March, April, May, and and so on.
Yeah.
So that's why I also put the store as well because God forbid if I ever have run into that issue or complaint, I should be able to find the receipt that and the picture. I also take pictures because when Marshall is in Burlington, they don't have your receipts are generic with generic SKUs, so those aren't going
Mm.
to hold up in Amazon court, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I take pictures with the item with the Marshalls tag on it, and that'll help me find the picture in my phone by the date I bought it at too. So it's just a
Yeah.
real big safety net that you need to have on Amazon, unfortunately, just because as much as things can be great for you one day, it could all come crumbling down real fast.
Absolutely. Earlier, you were talking about 80/20. You were 80% eBay, 20% Amazon. Then you flipped it. What made you flip it? Because, most sellers, when they first get started, I don't think you never hear like you hear the stories occasionally, but most people start on eBay. But
For sh-
why did you switch?
I mean, like I said, I been on eBay forever. So like
Mm.
it's funny, my resale story, I guess you could say started when I was 10, 12 years old. So my whole family came from eBay sellers. My dad sold on eBay, my aunt sold on eBay, which my dad's sister, my dad's brother, my uncle also sold on
Yeah.
eBay all in the late 90s and early 2000s when eBay was just starting. My uncle actually has the sale for the most expensive Beanie Baby sold on eBay to date,
Mm.
which was nuts because that's back in the late 90s. That was the hot item.
Yeah.
Everyone was selling
Yeah.
Beanie Babies. So like as a kid, my dad taught me how to list on eBay as like a 12-year-old, and I would
Yeah.
help him list items on eBay while I was at work. So I've loved eBay for years and years and years. So that's what I always when I turned 18, I created my own account. I started selling on eBay. So my account's 10 years old now. I've just shy of 3,000 feedback now.
Oh
Um,
wow.
so my eBay account is well vetted, and on the side, I would do um when I was doing part time. I think my best eBay year was maybe 70,000, 80,000 in gross
Mhm.
revenue, which for that could be a full time job to some people.
Yeah.
Um,
That's nice. Yeah.
so I was doing that on the side, and I loved it. eBay was doing great. When 2019 came around, or 2018, I got on Amazon, and I would do Amazon. I was basically selling toys and certain things that I could sell because everyone knows when you first start selling on Amazon, you're restricted and gated in almost anything and everything. Um, so I started, I joined the right groups who got me the help to get ungated in some major brands and categories in 2019. At the end of 2019 is when I found this and got these ungates. And so I started testing the water. I did Nike outlet buys and stuff like that. And I just realized as much as I love eBay and listing, I hate listing at this point because between eBay
Yeah.
and Amazon, but not for nothing, the velocity on Amazon, if you know how to buy and look at sales rank and pricing and you
Yeah.
know Amazon's against versus Amazon stock and what's not in stock and this and that. The velocity on Amazon is 10x what eBay
Yeah.
could ever be. And so don't get me wrong, I still have I think 700 listings on eBay, 750 active
Uh,
listings on eBay that at this point I'm not listing much on eBay, but it just sells through month over month to like I occasionally I'll add new things here and there and make new listings. Not right now just because Amazon is king for the holidays, but
yeah.
my inventory, my eBay inventory does consistently 6 to 8 thousand in sales a month, and it's just stuff that just it sits around at this point. But when Amazon, I send everything FBA. That's the first thing. I touch it once and it's gone, and I deal with
Yeah.
the headaches of the returns later on. Two, the velocity. I mean, you get a buy box on one of your items, and whatever quantity you have, you're wiped out in a day.
Yeah.
And so the velocity is a huge thing. And then it's just I don't know. That's what we came down to. The growth potential. Um, for Amazon is once you're ungated and could sell almost anything, it
Yeah.
it blows eBay out the water. And I'm sure there's somewhere in eBay where I'm missing it because I follow people on eBay that do 100,000 a month on
Yeah.
eBay,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'm missing some boat there where in terms of like, because like I don't edit my listings all the time. I don't constantly list, so it hurts your search algorithm and all that crap that goes on. So I know I'm missing the boat there with eBay. It's just hard to have time to dedicate as much time to both. So that's
Right.
why I'm more Amazon, just because you don't have to, as long you the hardest part to Amazon, the most work to Amazon is adjusting your prices. And I don't have a software that adjusts my price that tickers it down. I do it daily or every other day, and I go on prices and I fix it here and there. Um,
Yeah.
but on eBay, you gotta treat it's like a baby. You gotta like help that thing learn how to walk at some point. So that's that's
Well,
that's what that's what made it shift, because Amazon's a little more hands off than eBay is.
yeah. Early, you were talking about the buy box for someone that's new to reselling or new to Amazon or just thinking about it. The buy box is huge, but could you talk a little bit more about it as far as like how one could obtain the buy box, when listing an item and things like that?
Um, to be honest, the buy box algorithm always changes to me.
Uh,
Like, what I know that goes into is your feedback, the quantity you have in stock, and everything. I
yeah.
mean, I've gotten on the buy box just for the simple fact of the matter, especially recently with FBA, because what happens is everyone sends their stuff to FBA for Christmas, and the dumbest thing that Amazon does, which I wish they would stop,
Yeah.
is when they list everyone's inventory and it's back ordered for 2 weeks. Like, get the shit off the site. Because no one's gonna buy that item if it's back ordered for 2 weeks. They'll pay the extra $5 and buy the price, extra $5 to buy it, that someone has it readily available for you now. So it all comes down to having the right price, your inventory stock, and your feedback. To me, and honestly, that always changes how you get the buy box. There's times that there was a glitch earlier this year that still does happen. Is that sometimes the buy box, Amazon will give it to used items. That What's the rhyme or reason behind that? I have no idea. Like, I'll be selling a new video game or something, and the buy box will go to used. No idea why that happens. It's really honestly a mystery. It's almost as much as a mystery as eBay search algorithm. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't we can't pin it.
Yeah. It's funny listening to people talk about the eBay algorithm that's not an eBay employee. Yeah, and so I mean, as I get older, it's like, man, is this BS or what is it? But I mean, some people will say all of a sudden I cancel my listing, I relisted it, and boom, I got a
I,
sale.
I hear it
But
all the time.
I hear it all the time, right? But logic kind of comes into my brain. Well, doesn't the person need to search for that item, to
Mhm.
buy it? Because it's not like eBay's buying it, but unless eBay's tapping into the phone where it's hearing people talk about what they want, you know what I mean? And then just kind of just pits it out there. But it's always funny of listening to people talk about the algorithm. We just don't know. Some people say list 5 items a day. I've
I've
heard
heard
that one,
that too. Hmm.
where it's like you got to list 5 items a day. I'm not selling anything because I'm not listing. Well, my brain tells me, well, you're not selling it because people don't want it, or maybe there's
Or your
somebody,
price is too high. Like, I
or
mean,
your
don't
price is too high.
I've
Yeah.
I've done that. I mean, And I don't know if it's just a subconscious thing or just a
Yeah.
coincidence where like
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not listing as much on eBay on a monthly basis as I used to, especially
Yeah.
last year. And I'll go on a listing spree where like I'll list death piles and I'll list, X amount of things for the course of 3-4 days. And I shit you not, sales do uptick, and even shit
Yeah.
that's been on listed for 6, 8, 10 months starts selling again. And I don't know. So in my back of my head, just because it had it happen to me plenty of times,
Yeah.
I feel like eBay does want you constantly listing new merchandise. But that also comes down to the capital issue because a new seller is not going to have the capital to keep buying and listing new
Yeah.
inventory every 3 or 4 days. I'm also a stickler too. Like I like to get certain margins of return on the items I sell. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
price it, as low as humanly possible. So my stuff may sit a little bit longer. That's just, a business choice that I make, and it doesn't make any sense. And then, like I said, I see people on eBay that do almost 100,000 a year in sales, and I just
Yeah.
look at them like, dude, how do you do that? Like I have
Right.
the inventory and capacity to do that, but it's just I don't know if you run promoted listings. Are you doing a
Yeah.
flat 1% on promoted listings? Heard that works too. Just put one
Yeah.
percent on all your listings, and it helps you tremendously. I don't know. It's
That's what I
really
do.
confusion.
I do that, but I don't hit 100,000, and I don't think I even have an inventory to, to even reach that goal. But you were mentioning also like just certain profit margins that you want to make. Now, is it different with every category, or is it also different based on what platform you're on, Jake?
Um, yes and no. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to talk eBay first, eBay. I
Well,
mean,
let's use it because mainly people that are listening are sneakers. So let's say
right.
we're talking about a pair of Nike shoes.
Nike shoes has this with eBay's new no fees over $100
Yeah.
completely changed the game in my business
Yeah.
model. Because there's a lot of shoes that I would never buy, but now if I'm spending $60 on a pair of shoes and I can sell them for 100, 105 with no fees, I'm
Yeah.
happy to make that, $40, $30 or
Yeah.
whatever it may be after shipping them. In the past, I would never spend $60 on a pair of shoes to sell them for 100, 110 because after fees
Yeah.
and shipping, it's not enough of a return on my money. If I and usually on eBay, if I'm going to spend $20 on an item, I like to make at least 15 back in profit. So it's
Okay.
almost, if not, I in a perfect world double my money just because I'm a
Okay.
stickler. Just because of storage overhead and it sits there for a little bit and this and that. Um, so that's with eBay. If I'm spending, I like to try to double up almost everything, unless I know and I'm looking at solds and the velocity is crazy, and I see so if I buy something and it'll sell out quicker with a lower return, then I'll get rid of it,
Yeah.
and I'll buy that item on Amazon. Um, it's funny you hear people on Amazon and all these big time sellers. They always say, you'll be lucky if you make 10, 15% at the end of the day. I shit you not, on my
Yeah.
Amazon before leading up to Q4 with hot items and video games and toys and stuff like that, my Amazon business functions on a 30-35% profit margin. And I'm
Yeah.
proud of that because not a lot of people not a lot of people they say 10%, 10%, 15%.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my time to make 10% on an item. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah.
I don't care unless it's an FBA item that I could sell 100 units a month, 10%, okay, no problem. But on these
Yeah.
one-offs where you get, 1 to 5 of a quantity of an item, I'm gonna make sure I get mine out of it. That's just how I work.
Yeah. I think yeah, 30 to 35% I think is the baseline for a lot of people, especially for big retailers, big
Yeah.
corporations. That's always the standard, just to cover every single operational cost. For me, I try to really do obviously I think everybody wants to make as much as possible, right? I mean,
Of
so
course.
to say like what your percentage, but for me, it's like 100%. Like right now, I think for the whole year I'm averaging 105%. Really happy, but it's a balance. Not every item is 105% profit. Sometimes you take something at 30%, 40, then the next thing's like 140, 150. So I
Mhm.
think people really have to make a decision, what is it that you want to do. But I think what you said is a perfect baseline. If it's velocity, let's take lower margins. But if
Yeah.
it's a custom thing like a hype sneaker or something like that, really try to get a double up or at least, 40, $50 like you said.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like I said, those shoes, like anything I order from like any of those foot sites, Finish Line,
Yeah.
Nike, and it's not like, and like I said, it's a 95, a 97, a
Yeah.
270, 720, all those
Yeah.
like hype quote unquote shoes
Yeah.
that they don't sell on Amazon. For people out there, those shits that you could list them on Amazon, they have
Yeah.
awful ranks. They're listed for $200, $300, some of them. Maybe you'll get one to sell and then you can ship it
Yeah.
yourself. You got to hope you're not going to get scammed because a person's going to post some shady shit. And two, you got to
Right.
hope it doesn't come back as some BS return. So don't even try it. But that stuff, I buy all that stuff for eBay like everybody else. And like I said, I try to double up my money on all that stuff because at that point it's not worth the time. And I'd rather have a laundry list of good inventory that's priced right than bad inventory that I'm struggling to make 20% on or something like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier we were talking on the phone. You've been getting some assistance, man, from a special someone out there.
yeah, it's my actual brother, my blood brother. Um, so he is 23 years old. He's 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
He's been through a bunch of. He's had a we've had a really rough. Well, especially him. We've had a really rough adulthood.
Yeah.
At 17, my dad passed away.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Sorry to hear
from
that.
from cancer. My mom is a drunk, so she kicked us out of the house. He was 17. I was 22 at the time.
Hmm.
I was fine. I graduated. I was already graduated college at that point. I had a career going. I moved in with my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time, with her family. So they took me in. My brother, he didn't go to college because he was living on his own at 17 years old. He was living with my
Right.
grandmother. So he's had a lot of rough. He did a lot of labor jobs, a lot of bullshit that he was just miserable with. Um, and then he was working as a pharmacy technician. As most recently as earlier this year, and the pharmacy cut his hours from 40 to 20. My brother's now, like I said, 23 years old. He has a mortgage, so he's got bills to pay. He's not living at
Yeah.
home. He has he's an adult at 23 years old, a full-fledged
Yeah.
adult, unlike everyone else's age. Um, so he got his hours were cut in half, and he's like, what am I gonna? I gotta find another job, and this was smack like in COVID. Like he was working through COVID at a pharmacy because they were essential, and he's like, what am I gonna do? I'm like, work for me. I was like, I was already using him here and there on the weekends for Nike because they have their pairs limits of 30 pairs per person. So I was bringing him along so I can get 60 pairs or try to get 60 pairs or whatever I could. Um,
Yeah.
so I was like, let's try it out. I was like, I'll pay you what you were making at the pharmacy, and we'll see, how it can go. And it's great. I mean, I
Mhm.
don't think I'd be able to be as big as I am without him currently, just
Yeah.
because. I mean, especially now Q4, Target and Walmart are the biggest stores to get in the merchandise from nowadays. And it's
Yeah.
as easy as placing store pickups and then going to the stores to pick up your orders and then shipping it. So I have 20 store pickups I have to do at 8 different stores. I'd send my brother one way, I'd go another way. We'd spend all day picking up the shit, bring it back to storage at the end of the day, sort it. And then by the nighttime, the nightfall, all the stuff would sell. The next day, this is the best part of having my brother. I shit you not. He does all of my shipping,
Wow.
all of it.
If I
So,
had if I had a clapping effect, I would be playing it right now.
so he every day our day starts off. He gets to me at 9:30, sometimes 10 if he feels like is a little lazy. Um,
Yeah.
and he gets to me. We go to storage, and I pull inventory from my units and pull it out from all the shelves and this and that. I literally have a storage locker, a 10 by 10, strictly for shipping. I have all my shipping supplies, boxes, poly bags, poly mailers, bubble
Yeah.
mailers, the whole 9 yards. I bring it to him. I put it on the floor, and he knows exactly what box to use, what to do,
Yeah.
this and that. He weighs it, writes what it is on the box, and he does it all. I just started shipping again a little bit here and there just because having 100 orders a day for Amazon right now is a little
Yeah.
crazy. So both of us are in there taping boxes and shit like that. But leading up to December, he
Yeah.
was doing all my shipping, and it's a beautiful thing. Oh, it's so
Yes.
good.
Now, are you worried that he might start his own business, or would this be like a partnership, or maybe he
Um,
gets some sweat equity?
yeah, he's gonna get. Like I said, I pay him hourly. He he. Not that he doesn't want to start his business. He has endeavors. He has aspirations to become a real estate agent.
Hmm.
So he's in the process of doing that. So I'm like his springboard, or just say a filler for now. He's gonna work for me
Yeah,
until he gets his license, and if he'll still be able to work for me because real estate, he's like an entrepreneur. He works when he can and has listings and showings and stuff like that.
yeah,
And when he's not doing real estate, he'll still work for me. He doesn't have for him. He doesn't have the capital to do the amount of to scale a business right now. Eventually he might, which I could coach him through, and I'll be happy to set him up because his
right,
my business success, like my try to make my business as big as possible to support myself and my wife and my future family when I have one. And then
right.
two, my brother's had it rough, and I want to do whatever I can to help him along the way as well. So Christmas is coming around, and a check will be written because
Yeah.
he's did a real good job this year, and business has been phenomenal for me, and I wouldn't be able to do as much as I did without him. So I make sure I take care of him. And don't get me wrong, when we're out
Yeah.
in sourcing, he gets coffee, he gets lunches,
Yeah.
he gets treated really well, believe me. I don't think he could say he's had a better job, don't get me wrong.
What's his name? Let's give him a shout out.
That's Joey, my brother
Hey,
Joey.
hey, whoa. Hey, man, you're gonna have to change my contact, bro, in your cell
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, my brother in my phone, he's Broseph. So I
Okay,
know I
okay.
know it's always him. But
I
yeah.
might get that. I might get that Christmas bonus check, bro, if you tell it to the
Yeah.
wrong house. Hey, do you have a like you talked about a future family, but do you have kids at the moment?
I do not. I do not.
So it's
If
just you and your wife.
Just me and my wife. We've been together for shit. What time? When did we get together? 8 years now. Been married for
Yeah,
3. So it's whenever it happens, it happens. That's what we're
yeah.
saying at right now. It's no set plan or whatever, but we want a family. So
Okay.
eventually, that's why.
Yeah,
And luckily for me, like as a full time reseller, which was part of the push that I was able to become a full
yeah.
time reseller. My wife's a teacher that has pretty good benefits. So
Okay.
I'm obviously on her benefit plans, which
Yeah.
saves a lot of money from a full time reseller that's by himself that needs insurance. So
Absolutely.
that's a huge cost savings for me.
Yeah, that's a big W. Uh, Talk about, you know, the support system. I think for a lot of people that want to be full time, and it seems like there's a lot of males in this industry with reselling, and there is a lot of females, but it seems like it's dominant or
Hmm.
dominated by the male, right? Talk about how important it is, like the support of your spouse, you know, in
It's
order for you to do what you're doing as far as like these numbers.
Yeah. So like I said, I currently live in a 3-bedroom condo that's 1,100 square feet. The bedrooms
Okay.
are small, and the living space and whatnot. And my wife is a little OCD,
Yeah.
wants the house to always look like HGTV. Put it that way. Perfectly clean, spotless. So when I doing the volume that I'm doing, the house is not clean. It has inventory everywhere for the most part
Yeah.
for the past 2 years, and it gets clean for. I would go on this. It 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 is straining on a relationship because
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to these goals and aspirations and build this as big as possible, and she understands that, but then she also wants to have like a livable home, which I completely understand and also want too, and
Yeah.
so it eventually, we get to a happy medium where right now the house outside is spotless, minus like packages that came in today. Like you can see my office. This is death
Yeah, we can see
pile,
that.
crap everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But but yeah, once the thing is the I guess you say the what's the expression? The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Like once my wife started seeing what the business was capable of, like I want to say it's like spring, summer of this year, she was her her accepting of the mess became a little more accepting, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But now, and like I said, with Q4 the past, because my brother, he's a little stubborn, he doesn't like to work weekends unless I really
Yeah.
really really am desperate. So the
Yeah.
past 2 weekends my wife came to storage with me, and she was packing boxes and helping me out. and she does whatever she can to help me out if I ask, or if she's always like, "Can I do anything for you?" I'm like, "No, babe, don't worry about it. Like, I got this." But so
Yeah.
she's fully supportive, and you need that because if you're at the end of the day, after a long day of shipping and sourcing and packing, I come home and she not only she's interested in the business, she wants to know how it's going, not from just a monetary value, just to have conversation. Like she
Yeah.
understands how it works, what's going on, eBay numbers, Amazon numbers. She understands the frustration of returns, and she's seen some of my FBA returns, and she goes, and it's funny because I have two Instagrams. I have a personal Instagram and I have a business Instagram.
Yeah.
And my wife uses my personal Instagram because she hates social media, so she uses mine. And she'll be at school teaching, and she'll see my rants on my stories, and then she'll come home and be like, "You got another bad Amazon return?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got another bad. I got beat. I got beat again." So she's fully like involved and 100% supportive. But it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like that in the beginning because my house was a warehouse, and it
Right.
was painful for both of us. But now my goal for 2021 is once this holiday season's over, the business will be out of this my condo 97%. I have storage lockers just because, like I said, rent in New Jersey is astronomically expensive, and I'm just
Yeah.
not there yet that I want to impact my bottom line, another $2,000, $3,000 a month. um so I'm functioning out of storage lockers, which has its give and takes. I don't have internet there, obviously, so I'm limited. I don't print my labels there. I have to come home with boxes and print my labels. But other than that, I house my inventory and I ship it all there. So I'm 75% of the way of where I want it to be. Eventually, I'll get to a warehouse. I'm just not ready for it yet, personally.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's key, man, because I talk to a lot of resellers and the part timers. It seems like they really want to go full time. But I think, there's a lot that goes into it, Jake. But I think having a spouse that's supportive will make the transition easier. And I think I can testify, but you make those sales, the
Oh,
spouse
for
will be
sure.
very, very happy. Whether your spouse is a male or female,
Yeah.
it's like in the sales world, it's like sales closing deals. That's what it's all about. That's
Mhm.
the proof in the pudding. So most of the listeners, man, we're sneaker people. That's how we got started in this game. What do you like to wear, man, when you're sourcing?
I honestly, I have the most comfortable shoe. I think honestly is a Yeezy. I don't
Yeah.
wear them every day just because I don't like to beat them up. So I have a few pairs that I keep. I sell a lot of Yeezys, and I try to
Yeah.
get what I can. See, my hype sneakers I keep in the vault because they never go down in price, and I always get maybe
Yeah.
one or two pairs if I'm lucky, and I'll put them in storage and let them appreciate in value. But honestly, my everyday pair of sneaker is a Presto. I love my Prestos. They're comfortable. I have wide feet to begin with Nike, so like 97s, 95s and stuff like that don't really do well for me. I need that like material on the size that let my feet breathe. So I wear Prestos or Roshis on a daily basis.
Nice, nice, man. Where can people find you on social media these days?
I under Operation underscore Hustle on all
Yeah.
platforms and on Instagram is primarily. So I'm trying. I want to start getting into the YouTube game and making videos of because you come across some crazy shit when you're out there sourcing. And I think it'd be hysterical, especially at the Nike outlet with some people how they act. But I got a GoPro that I want to start doing that, but that's something I might look into doing in 2020. But right now, just Operation Hustle, Operation underscore Hustle on Instagram.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for taking some time out of Q4. I know you're a busy guy, and I know the people will appreciate this interview, man, and all the information you gave. So, want to remind the people, never forget why you started. Peace.